Tonight, I'm going to talk about 10 things that I wish I knew before virtual teaching. We have all kind of been thrust into virtual teaching at some level, had to adjust whether you are in-person teaching, hybrid teaching, or still virtual teaching like I am. I just wanted to take a minute now that we've had almost a full year under our belt of virtual teaching and just having to adjust. I wanted to just take a little bit of time tonight and reflect on this last year and share with you 10 things that I wish I knew before virtual teaching. So I'm going to kind of refer up to my phone. If you're watching me live on Instagram, go ahead and comment, share some hearts. Comment with where you teach or where you go to school. And why don't we start tonight off with a giveaway? I think that would be really fun. All right, so if you are watching live, hello, my name is Elizabeth. I am the author behind The Kinderhearted Classroom, and I am Dee Dee Will's partner in crime on the Clever School Teacher membership. Hi, everybody. So let's go ahead and start with a chance to win a $10 gift card to my shop, thekinderheartedclassroom.com. I have a couple hundred resources in my shop, and so I'm going to ask a question. All you have to do is comment, and the first person to comment with the correct answer gets a gift card to my shop, and you can go freely download whatever you want to download in my shop. So I'm going to give 3 gift cards away per question, one for Instagram, one for Facebook, and one on YouTube. So why don't we do 2 questions? So I'll give 6 gift cards away. All you have to do is answer correctly for your chance to win. Okay, are you ready? First question. Where do I teach? Where do I teach? What state do I teach in? Go ahead and comment below. We've got people hopping on YouTube and Facebook. Go ahead and comment below with the answer to the question, where do I teach? There's a little bit of a lag time, so I will just shout out the username when it pops up. All right, we've got him coming in. Cassandra Muir, California. You got it. First one on IG. Who's going to be the first person on either Facebook or YouTube? Oh, we got one. Here we go. Callie. Okay, we got a user in the let's see, Facebook user. I'm going to have to go back in my Facebook group for that one. And then C. King Patterson, California, you got it on YouTube. Okay, so email me at thekinderheartedclassroom@gmail.com, and I promise you I will email you a fancy gift card to my shop. So you can go on and download $10 worth of resources. Okay, you ready? Second question for your chance to win $10 to my shop. I'm giving away 3 gift cards per question, one on Instagram, one on YouTube, and one on Facebook. How well do you know me? What grade do I teach this year? What grade do I teach this year? What grade do I teach this year? Who's going to get it? There is a little bit of a lag, so. Oh, not kindergarten, not second, not fifth. 4th grade, there we go. Howdy, 08, 4th grade. Very good. Kelly on YouTube, Kelly Maynard on YouTube, 4th grade. Good job. Good work. And I'm waiting for a Facebook user. Somebody on Facebook. Who's going to get it? Nobody yet? Nobody yet? All right, if you're on Facebook, comment down below. All right, if I called out your name, go ahead and email me at thekinderheartedclassroom@gmail.com, and I will email you a fancy gift card to my shop. All right, well, tonight I need your help. I am talking about 10 different things I wish I would have known before I started teaching virtually. And really, there was no way to know these things because we are all kind of new at this, right? And oh, there we go, Facebook user, 4th grade. Very good. Okay, email me. It doesn't say your name for some reason. I'm not sure why. I think I have to go into the Facebook group. I can go back later, but shoot me an email and I will email you a gift card. So 10 different things that I wish I would have known before virtual teaching. I made a little list here, but also I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this topic because we've had a full year. I felt like when COVID hit, it was like ready, set, adjust or adapt, you know, and I feel like as teachers, we are typically really good at doing that and being flexible and adjusting to meet the needs of our students. But this year, we kind of had a lot of adjustment, whether you were changing platforms or classroom settings, scenarios, resources. I know a lot of teachers who were like, I know for myself, being in the classroom, I kind of had a good rhythm down. And when COVID hit, I felt like, oh my goodness, kind of like a fish out of water. Like, I don't know how to do this. And so now that we've had a full year to reflect, I have some things that I wish I would have known before COVID hit and before we all had to adjust. So feel free, as I'm sharing my ideas and thoughts, feel free to comment your ideas and thoughts. Let's get a discussion going in the comments. Okay, so the first thing that I wish I would have known were the crazy amount of questions that I would be receiving from parents and students. Do you guys remember that learning curve, like the first month of like, how do we use Zoom or how do we use these new platforms or how do we communicate with students and parents? The amount of questions that I felt like I was receiving was a little bit overwhelming. I don't know how you guys felt, but answering questions via email is totally different than answering them in person. And that has to do too with like answering questions in class. It was so much easier for me to be in class with my students answering questions, or like even when parents would pick up at the door, like, oh yeah, the field trip's on this day or today. And so the barrage of questions was a little bit overwhelming. And so I honestly am still getting used to that. Like, getting good about looking at my email and like responding in a timely fashion. I feel like that's one of the things I would have been a little bit more prepared for pre-virtual teaching. All right, second thing that I wish I would have known before virtual teaching was just general Zoom etiquette. Like, we got kind of thrown into teaching distance teaching, right? And we used Zoom. When we started virtual teaching, that was really kind of the first time that I ever interacted as a teacher on Zoom. I didn't know anything about breakout rooms. I didn't know anything about sharing my screen. I didn't know anything about how to, like even the chat feature, like kind of the flow of the classroom and how to develop and establish a flow of teaching. I didn't really know, like the first couple weeks, it was like, it was like my test case. Like it's not like we had time to practice, right? Kate on YouTube says, I spent so much time searching YouTube to find out how to do things. It was a lot. Like, honestly, I'm right there with you. I was in the same boat. And thank God that, you know, we were all in it together. I felt like there was a lot of understanding, but there was some frustration as well. Just like, how do we do this? How do you establish a good flow, you know? One thing that I was thankful for, and I don't know about you, please comment what your thoughts are on this, but I was so grateful that when we started, when everything hit, I had already established relationships with my students and with my parents. So I had some baseline for what my expectations were with my students. And I really feel like that really helped me almost just continue the connection that I had with my students and parents. And because I had built some rapport prior to everything that had happened. So that was that. So Zoom etiquette. Yeah. So that was the second thing. Just, I wish I would have gone into it a little bit more prepared, knowing how to utilize the platform, how to utilize Zoom. And I know some school districts were shut down for like an entire week and doing like emergency trainings and stuff with their staff. We didn't really have that. We jumped right into it. And so there was a little bit more of a learning curve there. Okay. Third thing that I wish I would have known before I started virtual teaching was just the amount of like class clowns and I would say called virtual class clowns. Like and classroom management. Just classroom management became a different, I don't want to call it a beast because it wasn't all bad, but I had to adjust as a teacher, just even the way that I, like, there were things that I said that I would have never said before in class, like, put the chicken down, or your baby brother is really cute, but he needs to go into the other room for now. So just those like classroom management, or mute your microphone, or, you know, all the things that come up when you're virtual. That was a little bit of an adjustment. So I felt like the expectations that I had maybe for class, even though they were like, my expectations were the same across the board, they were just different. Like, instead of, all right, crisscross applesauce, oh, if I can see your star, you're not covering your, you know, your spot on the carpet, versus like, oh, stop licking the camera because nobody wants to see your tongue. You know, those kinds of things where you just kind of like have to adjust your wording as a teacher and just kind of on the fly adjust. So that was another thing I wasn't quite used to. Okay, let me check in with you guys really quick. You just make sure. All right, we're good. We're good on comments. All right, the fourth thing. Did anybody else feel completely overwhelmed with all of the resource choices? Oh my goodness. How many different resources are there for teaching online? Thank God for the teaching community, like the TPT community, because whew, but are you using Seesaw or Epic or Google Slides or Boom Cards, or like, oh my goodness, did anybody else feel like you knew exactly what the plan was in class, and then you got to virtual teaching, you're like, there were times I was like, just tell me what to do. Just give me some direction. Just tell me where to go, what to click on. Are we using Google Classroom or not? Because I just need to know. And then there was like a couple weeks of just trying to figure out almost a new rhythm, you know, and then the training on top of that. So for me, the fourth thing was definitely like too many choices for resources, and then just finding a good rhythm to get into with the, once I chose the resources, you know what I mean? Okay, that was the fourth thing. Fifth thing, just general like working from home challenges. I did not realize how distracting like dishes or laundry or parenting, teaching from home and teaching your kids, like how much of an adjustment that would be. So I read a few books this year that had to do with like just organizing my time and everything, time management, because that was genuinely a struggle for me this year. Like, I'd be at my computer and then my brain would go, oh, the laundry's done, I'm gonna go change it out. And then it would be like, you know, just broken up work. So that was another thing that was a little bit of an adjustment, a lot of it of an adjustment for me. All right, number 6, this kind of ties in with number 5, but just routine, establishing a routine. You guys, I feel like I'm pretty organized. When you look at my calendar, like I've got every minute of the day kind of planned and plotted out, but getting into a routine that felt like I wasn't at home all day was definitely a challenge. Like I got to the point where I was like, I need to call a friend, phone a friend, and have some accountability here, because there were days that I just found myself, I would teach, I'd sit on the sofa, I'd work, I would teach from the sofa, and then I'd work from the sofa, and then all of a sudden it's 6 o'clock and I haven't gotten up, I haven't walked, I haven't stretched, I haven't eaten, or haven't had anything to drink, and I'm like, what in the world? Like, I feel like I'm pretty, you know, pretty organized and stuff. So I had to kind of implement some systems, like setting alarms and timers, and then also just phoning a friend, like for accountability and stuff, about getting up and getting moving. So, okay. Oh goodness, we got some comments coming in. Yes, I tried them all the ways. Teaching parents became a reality. Oh my goodness, absolutely. Like saying things to the students, knowing that the parents can hear, but like, you know, all right, if you have anything in the background that is a distraction to you, like a TV or somebody else in the room, maybe go to a different spot because I can understand why that would be distracting, you know, kind of like speaking through the screen. And that was another thing too, just knowing that you've got parents in the background, there is just that added pressure. And it's not, there's nothing to be ashamed of that about. It's similar to as if somebody were to come into your classroom and sit and watch you. And as a teacher, like I know that pressure, but then also as a parent, I've talked with other parents and heard other parents complain about their teachers. And like, I kind of just pushed back and was like, you know what, you don't really understand the pressure that the teacher and like what it really takes to manage a classroom, a Zoom classroom. It is completely different than what you would expect. And so give them some grace. Like if they're, you know, if they're not doing it exactly how you would do it, give them some grace because you never know what's going on in the background. So that was absolutely another thing. Teaching the parents, you know, what, or saying things like, if you can see yourself in your underwear, we can see you in your underwear. Like, these are all comments that like we've all had to say, or like, hey, can you just let your dad know we can see him in the background in his towel, you know? Oh my goodness, so many times, so many comments like that. Very good. Okay, so number 6 was routine. Number 7, another thing that I didn't quite, or I wish I would have known before I started virtual teaching, was just the technical issues and just have grace with myself with all the tech issues. Like, I feel like I'm pretty techie, and I can only imagine, like I've heard horror stories and I've talked to other teachers who had never been on Zoom or had never used a digital resource, and then all of a sudden they're having to teach digitally. And you know, as a teacher, you want to be as engaging as you can. You don't want to just sit and talk to the camera. You want to like interact, and you want to see the kids produce work and get hands-on with their curriculum. And so that was another thing. Tech issues absolutely was one of those areas that I wish going into virtual teaching, I would have just said, Elizabeth, give yourself lots of grace and just know that you're not going to always get it right. And there's going to be your computer at one point, Elizabeth, is going to crash, and you're going to leave your Zoom call. And when you come back, one of your students is going to be the administrator. That really happened. And I remember thinking, like, as he was the administrator, I remember thinking, like, just give the power back. Just give it back to me. Hand the baton, and don't share your screen. Don't share anything inappropriate. It's almost like that feeling of like you have to leave the classroom unattended just for like 2 seconds while you run across the hall and give your teacher something or your fellow teacher something. It's that feeling of like, I hope everybody's alive when I come back. And so it's the same thing in the virtual setting. I've had it happen like once or twice where I come back or my computer crashes. I'm like, no. And there's like 5 minutes of me being out of the Zoom call, and I come back and I join. I'm like, am I going to have a conversation with parents? Just tell me now. So that was another thing, tech issues. All right, number 8, community. This was such a big one for me, and I think it was big for me just because of my personality, but I know that as I've talked with other teachers, this is so big. Just that community and your teaching buddies, just having that, rubbing up, you know, close with and interacting with other teachers. There is something about just talking to another teacher. They have that understanding and just empathy, you know, and you can bounce ideas off of or decompress at the end of the day, like, well, you're not going to believe what happened today, or da-da-da. Like that was one of the things that I definitely missed, that teaching community. So, and this kind of ties in, number 9 actually ties in with number 8, is just missing my students. I posted a post on Instagram this last week about, like, I think it was titled, "Tell me you're a virtual teacher without telling me you're a virtual teacher." And one of the teachers, oh, it like broke my heart. Right when I read it, like some of the comments were so funny. Oh my goodness. If you haven't seen that post on Instagram, it's on my feed. It's the virtual teacher one. It's so funny. Some of the comments are hilarious. I can't even believe like some of these things like really happen. But one of the teachers said that she saw her student at the grocery store and her student didn't even know who she was. Like broke my heart. I'm like, oh, yes, we've all been there. Instead of it being like a student seeing you in the grocery store and like, you're like oh my goodness, you're a real person, you know, their response was they didn't even recognize her. So just number 9 for me was definitely like missing the interaction with my students. I wish I would have known how, almost like if somebody could have prepped me for that, that would have been nice. So number 9. All right, number 10, last one for today. Teaching on the fly and adapting. Oh my goodness. You have to sometimes do that in class, you know, but teaching on the fly and adapting in a virtual setting is a real thing. And I can't tell you how many times where I'm like, okay, let me pull this up really quick. You're just like trying to grab an activity because something crashed or a link doesn't work or a link is broken and you got to redo the link. And just having like almost like a grab bag of activities that are virtual versus like in person in the class. So that was the 10th thing for me. Teaching on the fly and adapting would be like, I would probably at this point, if I could go back, I'd probably have like a literally a virtual grab bag of like 10 different activities that if everything crashes and the world is like nothing is working tech wise, I could like just send them a link or something that's copy and paste that's already done. You know what I mean? So something that's just like quick grab bag on the go. So anyways, those are my 10 things. 10 things I wish I would have known before virtual teaching. I am just going to read through the comments here. And yes, I will save this for IGTV. Somebody's asking on IGTV. I'll post this as a live stream. Kate Keeler says parents chime in to give the child the answer. Oh, this is the part of the teaching where you're like, all right, make sure you're sharing what's in your brain, you know. She says, I can hear you whispering, you're not helping, LOL. Like, yes, absolutely. Like parents have good intentions, but you're like, and that was the other thing where like in class, you're able to push your students just to your standard with your standard versus what, you know, parents just aren't used to that. They don't know. And sometimes they don't even know what the standard should be. And so, and it's easier. And parents have it hard too. You know, they've had it hard too. Some parents are working from home, homeschooling 4 kids. And so sometimes it is just like survival, like, hey, this is the answer and move on because I'm working and homeschooling and watching the baby and all of that. But yes, absolutely. All right, let me just go through and look at the comments here. Yes, I will be posting this on IGTV. Yeah, a grab bag, just like in the classroom, only digital. I'm a beginner teacher and I've had to get my head around virtual teaching for the first time this week. Welcome to the chaos. Welcome to the crazy. You are not alone and you're not going to get it perfect. And we all like feel free to reach out and ask questions for sure. So, all right. Well, that's all I had to share. So I had 10 things that I wanted to share with you tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to ask a question. I don't really see any other questions or comments coming in. Miss Cortez watching from Puerto Rico. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. This teaching community is genuinely awesome. We love it. We're so thankful to be a part. And before I go, I'm going to do a quick commercial break here on YouTube and Facebook for our Clever School Teacher membership. If you are not already a member, this is the Clever School Teacher membership.
Welcome to Teacher Membership. The CST membership is a monthly subscription that provides you with monthly curated kindergarten and first grade resources along with professional development. You'll have early access to resources before they're made available to others. Your $19.95 a month subscription grants you access to kindergarten and first grade classroom resources valued at over $50. These will be resources that have never been published. This includes reading, writing, math, and center activities. Additionally, you'll have access to a growing freebie vault and a collection of professional development videos. Sign up to save energy, improve your teaching practices, and save valuable planning time.
Alrighty, thank you guys. Thanks for that. You can go to thecleverschoolteacher.com to check that out. Also, if you are here on YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and follow me on social. I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook and YouTube, all the things. I would love to connect with you. Thank you so much for joining. You guys are the best. Hopefully you found some really relatable things in this video that help you just feel human and normal and all the things that you've experienced this last year. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work, and I will see you guys in the next live.